The seamstress and the doll spent their days crafting, scissor... What is wrong with me? Right, take two. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So Gwen, this is the final League of Legends champion from the Shadow Isles I am going to be covering today. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go through her bio. I'm also going to go through her story. Now I've had a quick look, she's only got one other skin, so I'm going to leave the skins for maybe a later video. I'm also going to go through her interactions, her spotlight and her champion theme. I'll timestamp the whole thing as I always do. And yeah, without further ado, let's go. So, this is Gwen, the hollowed mistress. I don't know, I got mistress on the mind. The hollowed seamstress. Yes, seamstress. I don't know if she's a mistress. Anyways, the wind at my back feels so good. I can't lose this. I won't. Okay? Anyways, so let's read the bio. So the bio. With the long-lost kingdom of Camavor, there once lived a village of people far from the throne. It was here, in the rural colonies, where a humble seamstress made her beloved doll, Gwen. Oh, so is she kind of like... Oh, okay, seamstress made a... So Gwen is the doll. So Gwen is possessed by the maker of the doll. Is it? What Gwen can remember of her past, she remembers with love. The seamstress and the doll, right, so the seamstress possesses, I don't know, anyway, let's just read the damn thing. The seamstress and the doll spent their days crafting, scissor... Oh man, why can't I read? Oh man, that's bad. Yeah, crafting, scissoring, my dirty mind. What is wrong with me? Right, take two. What Gwen can remember of her past, she remembers with love. The seamstress and the doll spent their days crafting, scissors resting in Gwen's still hands, as her maker stitched nearby with needle and thread. At night, the two could be found crouched under the dinner table, the seamstress challenging Gwen to makeshift jewels. The clash of silverware against scissor echoing in the candlelit kitchen. Okay, I wonder what happens to the seamstress. In time, the game stopped and the light faded. Gwen could not understand why, but whenever she struggled to recall details, she felt a twinge of pain tied to a man whose name and face escaped her. Maybe the Ruined King. As her memories washed away with the ocean tide, Gwen lay still for centuries, quiet and forgotten. Then one night her eyes opened. Gwen awoke for the very first time on a shadowy beach far from her home. By magic unbeknownst to her, she had been transformed into a living girl who could move her hands and feet all on her own. So Gwen the doll becomes living. It's not a case of she's possessed by the seamstress. Maybe the seamstress is was it Isolde? Maybe it's the queen. Anyways, Gwen took to life with joy. She skipped across the sand, amazed by how far her eyes could see, how wondrous every pebble was to touch, and how incredible the wind felt on her back. Along the coast, scattered debris left abandoned for a millennia caught her attention. Lying beside broken chests were oddly familiar tools, scissors, needles, threads. Gwen recognised them immediately. These were her maker's tools. When her fingers touched them, a burst of mist glinting with light flowed from her hands. To her it felt safe and warm, like the soothing embrace of a hallowed past. But Gwen was not the only one drawn to this magic. Lurking in the aisles, a different mist swarmed. Black in colour, it coiled and twisted, forming its fearsome wraiths. Something within Gwen's newfound presence attracted them, something they hungered with for obsession. As the wraiths came for her, Gwen was undeterred. She thrust her scissors at them. To her delight, more of her mist filled the air, enchanting the size and strength of her tools and turning them from mere steel into spectral magic. Okay, but the wraiths were relentless. They swelled in number, fueled by the ever-growing black mist. Gwen began to feel a tragic, strangely familiar pain. Surrounded by wraiths, suppressed memories surfaced. She recalled images of her maker, sick and wounded, lying in anguish, which is obviously, yeah, it's Viego's wife. Near her was a man whose face finally returned to Gwen. There we go, Viego. Right, so the seamstress is Viego's wife, which is Isolde. I think she's called Isolde. Remembering by name brought Gwen to her knees. Wishfully she reflected on the bygone moments spent with her maker, a happier, simpler time, and stole one final glance at her scissors. It was then Gwen realised something amazing. Her maker, victim to the man's twisted vanity, was not fully gone. The seamstress's tools, the very tools that first sewed and stitched Gwen together, were now in her hands. Gwen believed this was no accident. She knew deep down her maker was still with her, still fighting. This was a gift Gwen could not take for granted. Grasping needles and thread, she spun clouds of hallowed mist to push back the swarming wraiths. Her scissors slashed hard and fast, reminiscent of those blissful nights when her maker imagined grand battles beneath their kitchen table. Soon the wraiths were no more. Though triumphant, Gwen realised that this was just the beginning. She could sense these wraiths and Viego were linked, both responsible for the spread of the immense pain. With no time to lose, she resolved to trap the black mist and stop it at any cost. Gwen expected this endeavour to be strenuous, yet she revelled in every second of being alive, for who knew how long this blessing would last. Having been given a unique chance at life, Gwen chose to be indomitable, positive force against all odds. She journeyed across ruined terror, determined to restore joy to those who are hurt and suffering. To Gwen, each moment is precious and every step driven with purpose. Right, good, okay, nice, interesting to read her bio, a little bit of backstory on Gwen. Clearly she was made by Isolde, and then for some reason something's happened and she's come to life. But it's a little bit like reading all the bios. It's a little bit like the Avengers. The Avengers assemble. Everyone's got this common goal, everyone's got this common enemy, and everyone has their own unique motivation for fighting the Black Mist, but ultimately everyone wants to fight the Black Mist. So yeah, it's like everyone's assembling against this common enemy. So that's interesting. What's funny as well is I wonder how closely she's tied to the seamstress, in the sense of if and when Isolde is cured, does that mean that Gwen will die? Because it says there that she's got a unique chance at life. She's going to enjoy every single moment because she doesn't know how long it's going to last. I wonder if they're uniquely tied. Anyways, that is the speculation. So what I'd normally do now is I'd normally go through her skins, but since she's not got too many skins, I'm going to move on to her champion theme. Let's go. Here we go. So Gwen has her own doll. Okay. I wonder what the significance of this is, or maybe there isn't any significance. The different colours in her eyes, I wonder what they represent. Does one represent her and one represent her maker? I don't know. Yeah. Ooh, going dark now. Maybe not. I love the music. That's nice. I like this as well. I like how it shows she's got certain parts of her body that are stitched together. So this here looks, at least to me, like her arm's been stitched on and you can kind of see the threads there. That's cool. While I've paused here, one thing I will say is, at the beginning, what I'm on 1 minute 40. At the beginning here, this is cool, but for me, look, let me go back here. She looks too cute, and I wish she was a bit more. I'd like it if she was a little bit more scary. If she looked a little bit more sinister, I'd like that. There's a part here where she's got kind of like a scar on her face or some stitching. That looks a little bit better, but I wish, yeah, just for me personally, You've got cute or scary, and I'm sure people prefer this type of Gwen we've seen so far, but I like if she looked a little bit more sinister. Anyways, let me get back to it. That's a cool skin though. I'll give it that. That's pretty good. Oh, is that Viego? Okay. Right, okay. Okay. Cool. So I like that one as well. Very similar to the one I watched last week, which was the champion theme on Senna, which shows the concept art along with the music as well. And a little bit of the basic lore of the champion as well. That was nice. That was nice. What I got from that as well is when Isolde died, part of her soul left her and it broke into many different pieces. One of them pieces went into the doll. So in essence, the doll is her and she is the doll, if you know what I mean. So that ties in with what I said before. I wonder if they bring her back to life, does the doll die? Because the life source from the doll has to return to the person. So I wonder if they're closely connected in that way. Anyways, yeah, like I was saying before, for me the main thing is I wish she was a little bit scarier in terms of her look. She just looks a little bit too polished, a little bit too cute, but that's just my preference. I'd rather if she looked she had a little bit of a mean streak. She was a little bit evil. Had a little bit of Evelyn in her, if you know what I mean. So, but no, that was good. That was good to see. Good to see Viego as well before he lost his, you-know-what, and went crazy. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on to, what shall I do next? I'll move on to her story. I'll do her story, and then I'll do interactions, and then I'll do her spotlight. Let's go. Okay, so the story is The Stranger Who Sews. Sews. Under the setting sun, hidden beneath a dense thicket, a young lady stands with a large black bows in her silvery blue hair, complemented by golden ornaments and an elegantly tailored dress. Her hands grip a pair of giant spectral scissors. It has been weeks, months, maybe since she first arrived on the Western continent. Right, so this ties in maybe nicely with the bio as well. We know from the bio that she's on a journey now, maybe to find other elements of her maker's soul. Anyways, the land here, should I say, paints a vast horizon, the biggest she has ever seen, but Gwen has one thing on her mind, the Black Mist. She has tracked it here all the way to the Isles, stopping it wherever she could. It's what's interesting as well is everybody wants to stop the Black Mist. Everyone I've read before wants to stop the Black Mist, but no one's joined forces yet. No one's come across each other's paths. You know, from Callista to Yorick, everybody wants to stop it. Lucy and Senna. Not far off in the distance sits a small cobblestone farmhouse. A chimney puffs out smoke. Foggy windows begin to glow with the reflection of candlelight. A wooden door swings open and two boys run out, each holding a doll. They chase one another across the farm, laughing and shouting words of battle. In this moment they are no longer children and their toys no longer cloth and string. They are kings and their toys are brave warriors fighting evil to defend their kingdoms. Gwen sighs. She thinks of her maker's home, not too different from the one before her now. She remembers how it felt to play without a worry in the world, back when she was a toy doll herself, back when her maker was happy and safe. The pain always hits first. Gwen clutches her chest and then she sees it. From the woods to the east it comes, thin tendrils of black mist, coiling over each other to form almost familiar shapes. Their contorted hands claw for life under the weight of piercing screams. The boys drop their toys and run. Gwen cannot bear to hear their cries, not those of the black mist that she has heard many times, but of the children. They are innocent. They deserve joy. She leaps out of the thicket, her scissors swinging high above her head, white wisps flowing from their closed blades. As her dress twirls, she slashes in a downward arc, ripping a slew of unsuspecting black mists wraith asunder. Poor black wraiths. Ha! Here we go, Gwen shouts. Took you quite long enough. Scared of me, are you? Oh, she's getting cocky now, is she? Okay. The wraiths turn their attention to Gwen and screech through jagged maws. Gwen looks at the stunned children crouched beneath a fallen tree. Her voice softens. Don't worry, I won't let them hurt you. The wraiths swarm. Somber cries fill the air. Dark, ruinous clouds materialize out of the once gentle sky surrounding Gwen. The boys huddle close. Gwen opens her scissors for a breath. The wraiths stand still. Okay, scared of some scissors. Gwen seizes her chance and dashes forward. She cuts too fast for the naked eye. Tufts of darkness appear and fade, sheared out of existence by Gwen's magical blades. 1, 2, 3 seconds later, and only a small handful of black mist servants remain. Gwen catches her breath, one hand on her knee, the other holding the scissors nose down in the dirt. Ripped threads of her dress sway in the wind. Her eyes scan for the collapsed tree. Two pair of frightened eyes peek out. She turns her attention back to the wraiths. I won't let them down, she says to herself. I promised I wouldn't let anyone down. She plucks a few needles out of her pocket and throws them upwards. With a spin, she smacks a hand down on the ground. The needles, as if on command, fall into place and form a circle around Gwen. She closes her eyes and whispered, Hallowed be my mist. Okay, not hallowed be my name. I thought it was going to say that she got some needles and she sewed her dress back together. Anyway, threads of mist, white with glints of light, flow from the needle. One boy covers his eyes, the other looks on. This mist is different. It feels warm, even safe. Its thread swirls and blends neatly, the work of a master seamstress. Soon Gwen is surrounded by a protective fog, kind of like the Blessed Isles with the light. Okay, a single wraith, brave or desperate, dives into this mysterious domain. Fair enough. The others corral nearby, eager to follow. Inside, Gwen dances circles around her foe. She dodges every claw, every swipe, chuckling between the clangs of her scissors. Another wraith enters, another chuckle echoes. Okay, that's looking good for the wraiths. From the outside, both boys watch in awe. Who is she? What is she? Got a similar move to Mordecai's by the sounds of it there. To them, it appears easy. But Gwen knows these wraiths are relentless. She needs to end this. She needs to end this. Gritting her teeth, she swings her scissors, slicing another wraith in two before setting her weapon aside. She draws her last needles and, channeling all the magic she can muster, shoots them forward. They fly from the shroud into the hollow chest of the wraiths. Gwen does not chuckle. She lets out a triumphant yell as the wraiths burst and vanish, leaving only needles on the dirt. A cool breeze trickles Gwen's glistening brow as all the mists fade. She grabs her scissors and needles and exhales. Her eyes turn back to the fallen tree where the children now sit. Hopefully they're not dead. Gwen approaches them. Are you all right? A grass-stained face looks at her and nods. "You're amazing," the other boy exclaims. He drops his torn doll to the ground, where another already lies. "Not like us," he mutters under his breath. "We can't do nothing." Gwen frowns. She senses their pain. They were helpless, and they have every right to be sad and angry. Yet she cannot help but see the broken dolls and feel dolls and feel hurt herself. "Who are?" one boy begins. "Will you stay with us?" the other blurts out. Gwen wonders for a second before a bedraggled woman, short of breath, rushes out and embraces the children. "My darlings, I'm so glad you're safe," she says, tears flowing down her face. A little bit late. "Excuse me, miss," Gwen says politely. "Who are you?" "Oh, you'll have to forgive me," the woman replies. Where are my manners?" She wipes her eyes, sees Gwen in full for the first time and hesitates. "She's our mum, dear," a child says. The woman nods and kisses her son. "Thank you," the woman says to Gwen, her voice quavering. "I don't know what those things were, or who you are for that matter, but you saved my boys, and that's enough for me." Her hands reach towards Gwen, palms open, a sign of gratitude. Gwen looks at the mother's hands, the calluses on her fingers and the nicks in her nails. She sees an apron, its front pockets holding a near empty spool with thread trailing towards a cobblestone house. Maybe she's a seamstress as well. Gwen eyes the broken dolls again and smiles knowingly. Watching the mother's arms wrapped around her children, she hears laughter. Its sweet tones of happiness and relief remind Gwen of something stronger than the child's pain, love. And not just a pure innocent kind, but one bought out of sacrifice. Gwen steals a glance at the distant horizon, remembering her maker. She lays her scissors down and picks up the children's dolls, setting them in their mother's hands. "All these silly toys I made for them," the woman says. "Why, I was once a silly toy just like these," Gwen says, "but I was brought to life by magic." Magic? What magic?" a boy asks. "Well, I'm not entirely sure," Gwen thinks aloud, "but the person who had the magic was my maker, you see, and the sacrifices she made came from a very special place, a joyful, loving place." Gwen turns to the woman. "Your mother might know." The woman and her children stare at Gwen, confused. "I'm sorry," Gwen says to them, "knowing the black mist is still out there. I must get going." She grabs her scissors with one hand and flicks out 2 threads with the other. They float into the air, 2 precious heartstrings, before finding home in the doll's torn fabric, sewing their rips together. "Wow," one boy says, lifting his mended toy up high. His brother imitates Gwen's flicking motion at his own doll, hoping it'll somehow imitate on his own. "I wish I had magic," he says, eyes wide. Gwen looks at the mother, whose love is reflected in how tight she holds her children, and sees the brother's joy. Okay, listening to their renewed laughter as they play with their dolls. "You do," Gwen whispers before turning to leave their family behind. Right, okay, so once again, she's got a mission. I like it, touches on it again, that she in essence is part of Isolde. Part of Isolde's soul, I'm going to say, is what makes up Gwen. And she's got a mission, obviously, now to save her master. But I like how it shows that there's a connection there, because maybe it's the same place, or maybe it's a very similar place from where her master was from. But the mother is a seamstress, and clearly her sons are playing with the dolls as well. So I like how it comes full circle. Nice. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on to her special interactions. Let's go.
A stage? A voice? Is that really all you are?
Okay.
A pretty voice, Seraphine. What a shame that's all you were.
Oh. Bitchy. Okay, that's a bit harsh.
Fancy blades, Irelia. Let me test my scissors against them.
She's proper.
Lucian,
She's
you
British.
face the Black Mist. Show me everything.
Good and proper. Yes. Yes.
You seem happy, Lux. But you know pain, too. Why deny it? A talking mountain? Now, what shall I say to you when you fall? Madman who wants to die. What is your story?
That kind of sums it up, doesn't it, I presume?
A giant ram who sharpens scissors? Why, dreams do come true. Riven, not a chance you'll win with a broken blade. Senna, you have missed too. But it's not all good, not all bad. How strange. You've suffered.
Yes, I'll pause it there because I think some of Isolde's life source went into Gwen to make her. We saw that. I think also some of it went into Senna's necklace as well. I'm sure of it, which obviously we see the Ruin King extract in Ruination.
I'm sorry, but I won't let you make more victims.
Okay.
A Shuriman! What's the desert like? Do tell me after I win. Chains, lantern, I've heard of you. And I'm going to stop you. Vayne, you seem quite angry.
Yep.
I wonder who hurt you.
No
Viego.
one.
She hasn't forgotten you. And I haven't forgiven you. Yasuo, your clothes are truly terrible.
I like him. I like him.
Yorick,
Here we go.
you look scary, but you don't feel scary. Not to me.
Exactly. Shout out to Yorick.
It's not the number of blades, it's the quality.
Okay.
Lucian, you missed too many shots. No running from pain, Lux. Next time, shine through it.
I like his swag when she kills someone. That's cool.
Ha! And they say scissors can't beat rock.
That's good as well.
Quite strange. You seem to enjoy that. Mr. Orn, are you still there? Are you asleep? Why must you use a broken blade? Senna, you seemed awfully distracted. Back to the shadows you go. There must be better Shuriman fighters out there.
Huh.
Get up, Thresh. I need answers. Vayne, don't let your hatred affect your aim. Now you can't ruin anyone else. Oh, the wind feels nice again. Your maiden, who was she?
That's interesting.
I did that.
Let's pause it there for that as well. Out of all the champions I've reviewed so far, Yorick is my favourite one. He was my favourite one before because I had a bit of an idea of his lore. After reading his lore, out of all of them, he's my favourite as well. And who is the maiden? That is interesting. Who is the maiden? Hopefully they might reveal a little bit more about who that maiden is as well. And fingers crossed he has I really hope he has a significant role in the whole lore that's going to develop on the Ruin King and the Ruin Nation. I really do. I don't think he will though. There's too many characters now, so I think his role will be diluted, but I really hope he has some kind of significant role. Because he should, in my opinion. Anyways, yeah, who is the maiden?
At me! Another down. I'm getting good. I feel so alive! She'd be proud. No time to rest. Ha! How foolish! No stitching that back together. Try again. I dare you.
Well, she's dead, so I don't think so.
I won't let you hurt anyone.
Enter.
5 in a row! What an absolute joy!
You won't see me stab you.
Bad jokes are a waste of life.
Dead dog.
How sad. You must be broken on the inside. Oh, I thought I was lost. But I'm still here. I'm still alive.
Love it. How good is that? And she's bored as well.
I can't give up. Not now, not ever.
Yeah, what a cool respawn. That is good.
I can do this. For her and for everyone.
Okay.
All right, everyone.
That's good.
First, we must win. After, I'll be glad to fix any clothes, hair, or broken spirits.
No bones.
What a strange, wonderful world. I must make sure it stays that way. Back when I was a doll, I really wanted to fight. This is my chance. I only one. Scissors, needles, thread. These were my maker's tools. I won't take her gift for granted. I remember when she sewed my dress with these scissors.
What kind of walk is that?
Now they cut a different cloth.
It's a little bit like Annie's, isn't it?
This
Walk.
place certainly brings out the fight in everyone. Wouldn't be fair if I didn't present my best. Bits of fabric can become something beautiful. My work here can do just the same. Oh, are those mountains beyond the cliffs? I've always wished to see one up close. It's called the Hallowed Mist, but how it feels matters more. Warm, safe, like nothing can hurt me.
Okay. That's the end. That was good. That was good. Initially, I wasn't too sure on her voice. I thought it was just too obvious. It's just, you know, the maid, classic kind of like maid butler British voice. But over time, it's grown on me, and I think it works now. I like her voice. I like her voice lines. That respawn animation, let me check that out one more time. That's one of my favourites, actually. Hold on. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Here we go.
Oh, I thought I was lost. But I'm still here. I'm still alive.
Yeah, I love it. That's a really good respawn animation. Yeah, her interactions are interesting as well, especially her interactions with the various other Shadow Isles champions as well. Cool. Yeah, pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish off with her spotlight. Let's go.
Once little more than a handmade doll, Gwen was brought to life just as ruination rained death upon Runeterra. Armed with the misty memories and tools of her maker, Gwen fights with a flurry of snips and slashes.
No time to rest.
Think you can make the cut?
End of that.
Welcome to the Gwen Champion Spotlight.
Okay.
Gwen sows pain with her passive, 1,000 cuts. Her attacks and certain abilities deal a % of her enemy's max health on hit. If the enemy she hits is a champion, she'll recover a part of the damage dealt, granting her sustain.
Okay.
Gwen's Q is Snip Snip. Use Q to cut your foes down to size, snipping twice and damaging all enemies hit, with the last snip dealing substantial bonus damage. Enemies at the center of Gwen's snips take true damage instead, and those unfortunate souls will earn 1,000 cuts. Ouch. Looking to thread some extra damage? Gwen's Q passively stockpiles ammunition in the form of stitches for each basic attack she lands. Snip Snip can consume any save stitches to deal extra small slashes when you first activate Q.
Whoa.
I guess snitches really do get stitches.
Whoa.
Hollowed Mist, Gwen's W, summons mist around Gwen, making her untargetable to all enemies outside
Which obviously we find out a little bit about, didn't we, in the story.
the mist for a few seconds. Enemies can still hit Gwen if they get inside the circle, and towers can always target her. But Gwen isn't defenseless. She'll gain armor and magic resist so long as she stays within the mist.
Right.
You can recast W once while the ability is active to reposition it. And if Gwen attempts to leave the protective circle, Hollowed Mist is recast automatically. Keep an eye on the cooldown and use W to protect against ranged attacks, while continuing to poke and jab. Your enemies won't be missed.
Try again. I dare you.
Enemies will be missed.
Gwen's E, Skip and Slash, is a dash that buffs her attacks for several seconds. Empowered attacks gain bonus range, attack speed, and additional damage on hit. The first attack to hit after using E reduces the cooldown of Skip and Slash, so you can deal damage without missing a stitch.
I run with scissors.
This is the only time it's okay to run with scissors, kids. The first time you cast Gwen's ultimate, Needlework, she fires a needle that damages and slows your foes. Hit an enemy with an attack or ability within seconds of landing Needlework, and you get to cast it again. And again. Each time you cast Needlework, it fires off more needles, dealing more damage. Up to 3 total casts.
Right.
1,000 cuts is applied to all enemies hit with Gwen's ultimate, allowing you to really reap what you sow.
No loose threads.
Wow. Okay.
Gwen is tailor-made for the top lane, constantly attacking and stacking to weave a tapestry of both pain and sustain. Looks like scissors beats rock after all.
Wow.
Be cautious in the early game, and avoid champions who can outmaneuver her Mist. While Hallowed Mist can protect against one-off skill shots, Juggernauts can get in close to take you out as they tank damage. And in ranged matchups, you run the risk of getting caught outside the Mist. Play it safe so you can craft your victory in the mid to late game. Gwen really comes to life hunting down opponents and using needlework to damage and slow.
Here's a sewing trick.
By constantly using her skills alongside her passive, Gwen is able to dish out damage with short cooldowns and steady sustain. Enemies making a run for it, skip and slash in hot pursuit to watch them unravel.
No stitching that back together.
And release. Okay.
Gwen deals constant damage, so rely on your tight-knit team to keep you safe when you go for the kill. Position with Hallowed Mist staying just out of reach, and you'll get your point across.
Lucian.
Did I say that right?
Gwen deals constant damage.
So her Hollowed Mist means that she can't get stunned. She should have got stunned there, shouldn't she?
Gwen deals constant damage, so rely on your tight-knit team to keep you safe when you go for the kill. Position with Hallowed Mist staying just out of reach, and you'll get your point across.
Lucian, you missed too many shots.
All dolled up and ready to take on the Rift? You can learn more about the Hollowed Seamstress by clicking the links below.
Okay. So, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. A good ending as well to go through her spotlight and her abilities. She's quite a new champion as well. I played against her, but I've not played the champion yet, so it's interesting to see the abilities as well. But yeah, I think I'll leave it here today, guys, in this one. Hopefully enjoyed my thoughts and reactions, everything to do with Gwen. So her bio, her story, also her special interactions and her spotlight as well. Now, I'll come back and do her skins once there's more content available. I'll do a part 2 at some point in the future on that. So yeah, the only thing I'm going to be doing now, which is going to be the Legends of Runeterra special interactions, I'll be doing them sometime next week. And then I'll be moving on to a nice crossover between the Shadow Isles and Noxus, which is Mordekaiser. So that's the plan for the next couple of weeks. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.